Hey, it's nice to see you. It's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualized, my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit that great big subscribe button down below. Please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live or post a new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying the content as we go along, if you find it useful, helpful, or insightful in any way. If you don't know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of this beautiful book, Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Real Life Stories, Love, Life and Sex, A Celebration of Asexual Diversity. This book is incredible because it just doesn't give you textbook definitions of asexuals and asexuality. It actually shows you what it's like to be asexual in this highly sexualized world when you're from different parts of the asexual spectrum and around different parts of the globe. So it doesn't give textbook definitions of asexuality. It actually shows you through the asexual's own words what asexuality is all about and how to survive and thrive in this highly sexualized world. There's lots of information, advice, hints and tips. Thank you for the thumbs up. And if you didn't know it already, I do have a blog on asexualized.com, and I'm also the founder of Asexualized Academy. So nice episode. I want to talk to you about something very, very interesting. Can you be attracted? Hi, Heather. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining me. This is a really interesting topic. Can you be attracted to attraction? Okay, I'll say that again. Can you be attracted to attraction? Okay, so I will explain in context what I mean by this, okay? So there is this guy in my local shop in the UK where I live. There's a shop called Poundland. You might have a similar store where you live where basically everything's meant to be a pound. But now they do some add-on sales like, you know, you can get something for like £5 that would usually be 10 because they're trying to boost their sales. Well, to cut a long story very, very short, thanks for the thumbs up as well. To cut a long story very, very short, this guy in this shop fancies me, right? He's fancied me for quite some time now. It's been going on for weeks. And, you know, he makes comments in front of other customers like, oh, it must be love to me. And he's the one who fancies me. But, so he keeps saying stuff like this, right? And then I went into the shop yesterday to buy something. And he said to me, oh, have you just finished work? And I said, well, I'm actually like unemployed and self-employed at the same time. And he's like, how does that work? And I'm like, well, it's a bit of a long story. But basically, I sell a few t-shirts and books online. But I was made redundant for my full-time job, working in a department store for 5 years. But then the books and t-shirts don't really make me a profit. So I'm in a minus. So that's how come I'm unemployed and searching for other work. And so he's like, oh, right, okay. And he goes, oh, well, I want some t-shirts making. And I'm looking at him. He goes, yeah, I'll pay you for them. He goes, yeah, I want some t-shirts. And I'm like, okay. And then he starts saying, oh, well, write everything down. You know, write everything down, all about it. And I'm like, but it's print on demand. Like, I do it with Amazon and Redbubble. I upload the design, it's print on demand. I don't actually go and get the t-shirt myself and print it. He goes, yeah, that's fine. He goes, write everything down. And then he started to have another customer, but he wasn't really paying attention to the other customer. He was more paying attention to me. And he goes, oh, yeah, I'll help you out. You know, I'm willing to pay for it. I need t-shirts anyway. I'm like, well, what design do you want? I don't know, he goes. And so I knew really it was just to get my phone number. That's all it's about. But it's kind of like, it might be to my advantage because I got this leaflet, right? And this is one of the leaflets I produced for the UK Asexuality Conference last year. It's like a leaflet of my own design. So it's got my own designs on there. And then on the other side, it's got me and my book and my contact details and all about my Asexualized Academy, which is the world's first online training centre and school for asexuals and asexuality. I'm very proud of that. It's got a free course on there, Asexuality Basics for Beginners. If you haven't already checked it out, you can use the link below and just literally sign up for free. And so, yeah, so this is, but it does have my phone number on here. So I'm a little bit reluctant to give him this, but it does have my t-shirts and it does say the words. I don't know if you can see it. Where is it? I'm asexual, not asexual. So I thought by giving him this, and obviously it says about asexual and asexuality in this, if you can see this leaflet. Asexualized Academy is the world's first ever online training centre and school for asexuals and asexuality. That should actually tell him I'm asexual without me having to tell him, because obviously he doesn't know I'm asexual. I think if he knows I'm asexual, that he'll leave me alone because he'll be like, oh, But obviously most people who come across asexuality, they think it means I'm sexual. You know, they think asexual means I'm a sexual person and wanting sex, which is simply not true. But if he sees the word asexuals and asexuality, he might look it up. And especially as one of the t-shirts says, I'm asexual, not asexual. So I think if I give him this, hopefully it'll give him the hint and it'll drop the bombshell that I'm actually asexual. So it could work in my favour. So I've got a leaflet ready. So tomorrow I'm probably going to go in there and give him this, because he wanted me to write stuff down. It's like, well, what the hell do I write down? Basically what I do with my phone number, because he wants my phone number. It's pretty obvious. Do you know what I mean? And so I think I just, you know, give him that, and hopefully he'll actually look it up and find out that I'm asexual, and he'll think, oh, right, I can't get sex from this person. Then I'll leave her alone and I'm not interested anymore. I mean, I think it's sad when guys are not interested just because you're asexual, but I understand it. You know, they've got sexual needs, and if they need them satisfying, there's no point in being interested in me. I'd rather him forget being interested in me and go after some sexual girl who can give him what he wants. Do you know what I mean? I find it hard to talk to guys. I don't, Heather. Find it damn easy to talk to guys. Too easy, really. I find it really easy to talk to guys. But you know, this guy's tried talking to me numerous times when he's got cues, and he, you know, even in front of queues of people, he's like, oh, it must be love, you know. And it's like, I'm looking at it, because he goes, one of the times he goes, oh, you just came back so you could be served by me. And I said, actually, I don't mind who serves me. And he's like, oh. And he was a bit taken aback by that, because he expected for his ego for me to say, oh, yeah, of course I do. And I didn't. And then he's like, oh, well, it must be love or something. I'm like, oh. You know, and the point of this video I want to make as well, Heather, is that, and anyone else that's watching, is that can you be attracted to attraction? So with this guy, right, I wasn't attracted to him when I first met him. Like, he's not my type, right? Having said that, he does have short brown hair and he is clean shaven, which is two of my criteria usually for my preference for guys. I prefer them with short, dark hair, and I prefer them clean shaven. I also prefer them foreign, but this guy's British. But he's really not my type. He's got a very simple, plain name as well. And I don't know if he looks better if he was outside of his job with a proper shirt on. He might look nicer looking then, but, you know, he's not really my type. But as time goes on, and the more he keeps talking to me, and the more he keeps fancying me, and the more he keeps making like coming after me, the more I'm starting to feel a little bit of attraction there. And I'm thinking, so can you get attracted to attraction? I think the answer is yes, because in heterosexual world, right, heterosexuals pursue other heterosexuals, and it's the pursuing and the persisting that tends to make the person, the majority of the time, have stronger attraction back. So it's kind of like the, you know, the constant, like, obviously some people are just like, I'm not interested, take a hike, you know. But there are a lot of ways that particularly guys, they will pursue women and pursue them until the woman basically gives up and finds them really attractive and wants to be with them. It doesn't always work like that. Some women think those guys are jerks and they can take a hike, but if there's any chance of just a little possible attraction there, the guy sees that, you see. And I think that because I noticed I'm thinking about this guy a little bit more lately, and I'm like, I don't want to, but I'm kind of like now noticing he's got brown hair. Now noticing his cliche, and I'm thinking, Sandra, those are two of the criteria you like. And I'm like, hang on a minute, this guy's no good for you. His ego is huge. He's not a good guy. And so now I'm a little bit like, oh dear, if I got this tiny bit of attraction, there's not a full-on attraction, just this, I'm attracted to because he's attracted to me, if that makes sense. So I think you definitely can be attracted to attractions. I'll have to add that one to my list of attractions I have. But not sexual. I think I have attraction towards me. That's very funny. I have noticed this though. Any guy who starts being attracted to me, I tend to start being attracted to him back, even if I wasn't in the first place, which is a little bit worrying. But I don't know if that's to do with my hyper-romanticism. If you know, watch this channel, obviously Heather does, you'll know that I'm hyper-romantic. So hyper-romantic is where you're excessively romantic, and it's very easy for me to get into a romantic state and romantic frame of mind, and my body to feel really romantic as well, and kind of like my mind drifts off into romance and what if and stuff like this. So it can be a bit annoying at times, because it's like I thought to myself only a couple of weeks ago, this guy's not good for you, Sandra. His ego is huge. He fancies himself. Just forget him. He's no good for you. Don't even pay him any attention. And now it's like, do I actually give him this leaflet? Do I give him? But I think, if I give him this, I think he'll know that I'm asexual, and at least it's telling him without actually saying the words, because it's a shop that has loads of customers. The last thing I really want to be doing. I mean, I could obviously say I'm asexual in front of everyone, but because obviously I'm, say it like it is here. But it's like I don't really find it appropriate, because it's not like he's asking me on a date. But I know he wants one, if you know what I mean. So it's kind of like I don't really want to say it, because it's like I'm buying stuff there all the time. It's like my local store, you know what I mean? But I need to kind of let him know that I'm asexual anyway. So he'll probably give up then. I've been talking to this guy about photography and art. I find asking questions are awkward. What are the best questions to ask without annoying them? Get them to talk about themselves, Heather. So instead of talking just about yourself, ask him questions. So like, if he does photography, ask him what his favorite type of thing is to photograph, whether it's still life, animals, scenery, that type of thing. So what's his favorite type of thing to photograph? What type of camera has he got? So you ask him loads of questions about himself. People love being asked questions about themselves. They absolutely adore it. They can go on for hours and hours about themselves. So the best way to talk to anyone that you're uncomfortable with talking to is don't start by talking about yourself as much. Talk about them. Obviously, you can say like, "Oh, I'm interested in photography too. Tell me what." A brilliant question to ask as well is, "Tell me what you love about photography the most." That's an excellent question, because it gets to how they feel. Gets to the person's a guy's heart more if you ask them feeling questions, but in the context of practicality. Like, what's your favorite artist? I would be asking him. And what is it that you like about your favorite artist the most? Which period of art did you find the most interesting from that artist? What art galleries have you been to? How often do you do art yourself, or do you are you just a spectator? What art have you bought? Photography, do you do black and white photography, or is it color? Do you get the prints yourself, or do you go to a shop to do it? But obviously you have to make sure that they're free to talk and stuff like that. But the more you talk and ask them questions about themselves, if they like you back, or if they're interested in me, your friend, then they should talk about themselves. And they should also ask you a question about you though, if they want to be your friend. Do you know what I mean? If it's all one-sided, then you have to cut them loose, because it's just going to be boring for you as heck. But yeah, I hope that's helpful for you. Yeah, just talk about questions about themselves, but ask feeling questions. So one of the good questions to ask about anyone on a dating site, for example, an asexual dating site, is if they tell you about a job, don't just say, "What job do you do?" You say, "What do you love most?" You're welcome, Heather. Say, "What do you love most about your job?" What is it that makes you excited most about your job? What does your job, what does the a typical day look like in your job? And but it's mostly to ask them why they like their job. Why do you like it so much? So you're kind of trying to have a question that makes them feel something. Yeah, I don't have a problem talking to guys. Well, most of my friends are guys, so to be honest, I got more guy friends than female. I prefer it that way in general, but I'm not good. Like, I really like guys as friends, but I don't really like them for, I want a guy for a relationship, but in general, I don't think guys make good relationship partners overall, because I have a huge trust issues with guys. I have trust issues with women as well. But I have trust issues with guys in relationships, but outside of relationships, as a friend, I think they're amazing. I think guys make best friends, like, because they're very direct, very honest, usually tell it like it is, and don't beat around the bush. Whereas some women, not all women, but some women, they can be really bitchy, stabbing each other in the back. They can be two timing guys as well, which I don't like about women. or they can be trying to steal a man from someone. I know these type of women, both types, you know, and you know, I don't, you know, I do have, you know, well, I've got you, Heather, you're a nice person, but you know what I mean, in general, there's not that many, you know, women that I'm very close to, really. I've got one female best friend, and that's about it. I've got another friend I knew from school, but I don't see her very often. But yeah, most of my friends are guys. If I talk to a friend, it's usually a guy mostly. So yeah, that's like, I like guys, so I've always gotten better with guys as friends. I just feel the only thing is with guys as friends, obviously, if you start fancying them, whereas me being a hyper romantic can kind of end up fancying my friends a bit. It's a bit difficult sometimes, but mostly it's okay because the friendship love outweighs anything else. But sometimes it can be a bit tricky. If I start liking them way too much more than friends, it's a bit annoying, really. But it is what it is. But yeah, I like being single, actually. It's very good. But yeah, so I think you can be attracted to attraction. I think definitely in the heterosexual world you can be as well, because I literally, as I said, that guys tend to pursue women, and it's the pursuing that sticks in the woman's mind more. But it's like equally, like if a woman spends a lot of time with a guy and she gets on really well with him, the guy could end up being attracted to her more back because they're spending time together. They've got that contact more. They've got that energy between them in the same perimeter. You know, they're around each other more. They're spending time with each other more. It's called familiarity. I can't even speak tonight. It's called familiarity. So basically, this is like a psychological thing that the more you spend time with someone, or the more you're in their environment, or the more contact you have with them, the more familiar they are, the more you want to actually be in their environment, see them, and spend time with them. That's the theory. So therefore, like in the, you know, when you're trying to attract someone, if you end up spending a bit more time with them, so if you go from, say, a friend where you might see them like once a month or something, to a possible relationship where you're seeing them every single week, the familiarity of spending time around that person is going to general, if you've got any type of attraction whatsoever, or any potential type of attraction, it's more likely to make you be attracted to them because they're in your life more, because you're seeing them more, because you're around them more. And if you feel really comfortable and happy in their company, you're going to get a really good vibe from that and want to be around them more. And I think whenever anyone pays anyone attention and starts kind of like, so do I say to him, what do you like them? So do I say to him, what do you like themselves? So do I say to him, what do you like themselves? You ask him. So you say, I've been talking. So do I say to him about what do you like themselves? I'm not sure about the question. So basically, Heather, so you said you've been talking to this guy about photography and art. I don't know if it's because you do photography and art, or because if it's he that does, or both of you. I was assuming that you both did, and that's why you were talking to him about it. But if it's not the case, then you have to pick something that he does and is interested in. You have to ask him about why he likes art, why he does do photography and art. So you have to ask him questions about why he likes them things. You know, what's his goals, ambitions, and dreams with them, for example. So with photography, ask him what he likes the most about photography. Because you need to find out his why in life. When you find out a guy's purpose in life, you're interested in, when most people think on a very superficial level, and they'll just say, oh right, oh I like photography too, that's great, and they'll talk about themselves and say, yeah, I do this photography, I do that photography, and they completely miss the point of asking the other person about how they feel about the photography and what type of photography they like. So in order to engage in conversation, you want him to talk back to you, and you want him to actively tell you how he's feeling about photography, what he thinks about it, and get it into his mind more, if you know what I mean. So you need to be asking him, rather than just telling him, you need to ask him. I don't know what the conversation is, see? So it's hard to help you, but it says, I've been talking to this guy about photography and art. I don't know if it's you talking to him saying, oh, I like photography and art. This is what I do with my photography. This is what I do with my art. And he's listening to you all the time. Or if you're having a backwards forwards conversation where you're engaging him and asking him, you know, what he likes about photography, what type of photography he likes, you know, what he likes photographing, where he photographs. and and ask him, like, where does he see his photography going? Is it going to be just a hobby or a career? And where does he see his artwork going? Is it a hobby or career? Does he make a living out of it? What would he like to do with his future? I don't know if you're liking him as a friend or if you're liking him as a potential partner. But if you're liking someone as a potential partner at all, you need to find out what his plan is for the next 1 to 5 years. Do you know what I mean? If his plan is to be, like, I don't know, a famous artist, and he wants to go and live in France, for example, because it inspires him, and you live nowhere near France, and you're interested in a potential relationship with him, it isn't going to work because he's going to move away from you. Do you see what I mean? So you have to be finding out. I don't know if you are talking about potential relationship, but if you are, you need to be finding out what his goals, ambitions, and dreams was. If he's doing, is he doing photography and art just as a hobby, or is he doing it as a proper job? Is he making money online with it? Where's he going with it? Does he want to open an online store with it? Has he ever thought about opening an online store? Why is he doing it? So you need to find out his why he's doing it, what his purpose is, his goals, ambitions, and dreams. If you're really interested in getting to know him more, than particularly more than a friend, and share. So, it's good for you to both share things about each other and share, what you do. But you obviously have to, he shouldn't be getting annoyed with you if you're taking that active interest in him and his work. But the only time he get annoyed is if he's busy, like if you've interrupted his food or he's with friends and stuff like that, So you can always say, oh, is now a good time to talk? You can ask him that kind of question, or you can just leave a message and he'll get back to you. Like, I leave messages for my friends and they just get back to me usually. Do you know what I mean? I don't worry about if they don't get back to me straight away. I just leave a message in their Facebook inbox and they get back to me when they're free. So, and I'll ask them questions like, like ask them how long it takes for them to do a piece of artwork, for example. Like, I personally like Picasso. So Picasso's Cubism period, that's what I like in art. Like Picasso had different stages of his artwork, didn't he? And I like the Cubism period. It's a Cubism period, whereas all the pictures were done in like blocks in cube shapes. So that's what I liked about it. And I like, who was it? Shazam? Is it Shazam? I can't even pronounce it. Picasso is my favourite artist ever. I think it's Shazam. I can't pronounce that. And another one as well. But yeah, Picasso is my favourite. And I've been to the art gallery. So you can ask him what art gallery he's been to, Like, if he lives near you, you might be able to go to an art gallery one day. You could suggest it to him. Oh, maybe we should go to an art gallery one day. It depends how much you know this person, and what they're up to. You don't want to be going to an art gallery with someone you don't even know. Do you know what I mean? But if you want to go on a date, an art gallery might be quite good to go on a date with him. I feel like you're my YouTube friend. Of course I'm your YouTube friend. Yeah, I love it. You're one of the few women I talk to quite a lot, actually, even though it is for YouTube. Tonight I've been off Facebook quite a bit because I need to get stuff done. I'm catching up. I've got loads of personal stuff going on at the moment. So yeah, of course you're my YouTube friend. You're amazing. Yeah. So I hope that's helped you. Has it helped you, Heather? Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, it's very difficult without actually knowing the person and what their intention is and their lifestyle and stuff to know to give you advice. But I hope that so basically you have to ask him questions about the things he does, what he likes about them, rather than just give your information. You ask questions about him. The more you ask questions about him and take an interest, the more he'll be like, oh, I want to talk to this woman because she's like interested in me. She's fascinated by me. She really wants to know what makes me tick. And that's quite attractive to a guy, A guy gets attracted to someone who, one, is got standards, so they're not like bowing down to him every 5 minutes, and they still got boundaries, but two, takes an interest in him, if you know what I mean. But you do want to maintain boundaries and stuff, don't like guy walk all over you. I think that's a problem with a lot of things, like when a guy is interested, like the guy who's interested in me in Poundland, right? He's interested in me now. But if I turned the whole thing around and became interested in him, he probably wouldn't be interested in me, because that's how it works, unfortunately. It's a bit sad, really. So the moment you start being interested in someone back, the moment they usually lose interest, a lot of the time, in my personal experience, that's what happens. I think that's just sad. I wish there was more guys in the world which would just, like, once they've got a woman, would think, God, I've got the woman I want, I'm going to keep her, not mess her around and You know, like, what's the point in pursuing a person and then actually not wanting to be with them in the end anyway? To me, it's just pointless, you know. But this is what these guys do. They'll pursue someone, a woman. They'll go to great lengths to, like he's trying to do, to get my phone number, saying he'll pay me to design some t-shirts. We don't even know what he wants. It is sad, really, Heather. It's very sad. You know, I wish more people would know what they've got in front of them, but sadly, a lot of guys don't. They'll want it. They'll want you, and then when they've got you, they'll be like, "I don't. This is not what I want." And I do think that's sad. I really do think that's sad. But you have to just think it's their loss. At the end of the day, they will lose out. If they're not losing out now, they'll lose out in the future. Because you will find a good partner for yourself, and then they'll be like, oh well, I wished I'd been with her. I had a missed opportunity there because I didn't step up to the plate, you know. So but yeah, I do think it's very sad. So I know this guy in Poundland, you know, if I start showing interest back to him, he'll run a mile. I could do that on purpose just to see what he did. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't really want to get into that. Do you know what I mean? But I know if I showed any actual interest back to him, he'd probably run a mile. Because a lot of these guys are not really strong guys. They just like the chase. They like the excitement. They like the idea of being in a relationship with me or whoever, you know. And when it actually comes down to the crux of the matter and actually stepping up to the plate and being a strong guy and actually wanting me in their life, they just back down. They're just weak. And it's the truth. You know, they're very weak guys who they can't handle it. They want something. It's like a cream cake they want, but when they get it, they've decided, I don't like that flavour. Do you see what I mean? That's what it's like. And I do think it's very sad. And I do think that guys should think things through properly a lot more before they just jump in. But you know, it's a dopamine hit, isn't it? Like this guy in Poundland, I mean, he obviously fancies me whenever I go in there. You know, I mean, yesterday, sorry, was the first time he'd ever actually, well, the day before now, because it's just gone midnight, was the first time he'd actually spoke to me like a human being, instead of cracking these jokes like, oh, it must be love. Oh, you've just come in to see me. Oh, I know. Do you know what I mean? Which is so egotistical. That, like, the day before yesterday was the very first time he'd actually started talking to me about, oh, have you just finished work? Like an actual human being, sensible person would say, like someone who's your friend or someone who's your colleague, not someone who, do you know what I mean, is just being so egotistical. So, you know, now he's getting to the stage where I don't know what to do because I'm talking, it's our society, yeah. Now he's got to the stage where I don't know what to do because I want to talk to her. Also, it was interesting because I bought my dad something for Father's Day. So in the UK, in June, which is the next month that we're coming up to, I don't know when you're going to be watching this video. If it's not live, you know, once it's finished live stream, you might be watching it another time. But in the UK, it's in June, and we're in May in the moment when I'm recording this video. And yeah, and I bought this item from there which had the word man in it for my dad. I'm not going to say what it is, but because my dad watches this channel. Oh dear. Oh dear, I just gave something away, didn't I? Anyway, the guy said to me, oh, you're not a man though. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Clearly. And I said, no, I'm not. I said, it's for my dad for Father's Day. But it's like, of course I'm not a man. The reason he wanted to know that is because he wanted to know if I got a boyfriend. That's what he was getting at. So when sexual guys say stuff to you, they don't say what they mean. They don't like he could have just said to me, what's your phone number, instead of making up this rubbish story about the t-shirts that he wants to buy off me, right? That's what he could have just said. Oh, I'm really interested in you. Please give me your phone number. But he's too much of a wimp to say that. So instead, he's going around, skirting around the subject, right? And when I said I bought the item that says man in it, he wanted to know if I got a boyfriend, because he wanted to know that it was for my dad, because he said, oh, well, you're not a man. Which is much to say, well, what man is in your life that you need to get that for? That's what the question really was, but he didn't say that. So when you're talking to guys, you have to read between the lines of what they actually really mean, because they haven't got the guts to actually ask you outright or say the thing they actually mean. But what he wanted to know is if I got a boyfriend, and if that was for my boyfriend, that's what he wanted to know, because it's after he'd already asked me that, then he started talking about the t-shirts. Which, you know, when he's saying write everything down, it's like, what do I write down? I sell t-shirts on Amazon and Redbubble with their print on demand. Tell me what design you want. I've already said it to him, you know, he just wants my phone number. But I will give him this leaflet, even though it's got my phone number on it, because, you know, hopefully he'll understand that I'm asexual. He'll look it up on asexuality and he'll be actually like, oh, I didn't realise that about her. And then he'll think twice about talking to me. Or he'll start saying stupid stuff like, oh, what's asexual then, probably. Or he'll think I'm sexual, because he might be so dumb as to not, I don't like using the word dumb, but so much dumb as to not even look at the word asexuality. Do you know what I mean? Look it up. Because some people, they just blind, aren't they, like that? They just don't look things up. They just rather stay ignorant to the word. Yes, guys have a different language, laugh out loud, yeah. So I'm going to take it because I don't know if he'll be in tomorrow. I don't even know if I need anything in there, because I don't really want to go in there unless I need something in there, because it's just like going in for going in's sake, really, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I'd rather go in there where I need something. But I usually need something at some point from there. And I usually go in there a few times a week. But, you know, I guess I could just take it in if I saw him at the counter, because sometimes he's free at the counter. He don't have customers all the time. But, you know, I don't want to make a special trip for him either. He wanted me in there yesterday. So, because he said, oh, yeah, you can come in tomorrow and give it to me. I'm like, I just smiled. I thought, I'm not going to go out my way to give you that details, mate. I'm not that interested in you. Do you know what I mean? It's funny. But hopefully I'll give it to him anyway. I'll keep it in my handbag and I'll pull it out and give that to him and see what he says. And then I'll you know, see whether he's actually paying attention to asexual and asexuality, or he just sees like, I'm a sexual person. Woohoo! You know, but who wants a guy that's just so egotistical they can't even say what they mean? You know, why doesn't he just, if he fancies me, why does he just say, I really fancy you? How about going out on a date? Do you know what I mean? Just start faffing around, or even ask me if I've got, he's not even asked me if I've got a boyfriend. He don't know if I've got a boyfriend. He's not even asked me that, you know? He could, but obviously that's what he was getting at with the Tim. But, you know, what I do is I say to a person, if I'm not sure if a guy is with a girl, I'll say to him, what does your partner do for a job then? Because you're then taking an assumption that they've got a partner. It's a really good question to ask them. Like, what work does your partner do then? You're saying to them they've got a partner. You're telling them they have, and they'll be like, oh, I don't have a partner. And you'll be like, oh, sorry, I thought you did. Never mind, and carry on talking then. Do you know what I mean? It's a way of finding out if they're in a relationship or not, because obviously not everyone will tell you, because they wouldn't need to tell you, because they don't know you're interested in them romantically, do they? Do you know what I mean? So it's really important that you ask that question, you know, what job does your partner do? And it can just save yourself a lot of heartache and pain. You don't want to be going after a guy that's got a partner. What's the point in that? You know, you can be doing better things in your life. Anyway, Heather, I hope this video has been useful, helpful, insightful for you in some way. If it has, thank you for, because I know you've already given me a thumbs up. If anyone else is watching, please give me a thumbs up. If you like this video, share it with a friend. And don't forget, if you haven't already subscribed, hit the great big subscribe button down below and the bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live. Like now, post I can't even speak tonight. Post a new video. Night, Heather. I'm glad you found it helpful. And I will see you on the next live stream or next video. Lots of love, Heather, my YouTube friend. Take care. Nice to see you. As always, thanks for your support. Love you to bits. Bye.